Hi James, very nice to see you again. For this lesson, I'm going to answer your questions about Perlman and delay. I'm going to give you a brief shifting lesson. I'm going to teach you a little bow distribution exercise, which is half the ball game for this Bach air. And I'm going to show you how to separate the elements of working on your bowing separately, and then working on your left hand separately, and then finally combining the two. And I'll show you the easiest fingering that's available, and then the Akiko Myers fingering. First, let's talk about the questions you had. I watched those spots of Perlman. Yeah, it's crazy what he does. He's more of an exception than the rule, which goes to show that the end result is all that matters. If you can sound like Perlman, you're allowed to do any crazy thing you want to with your hand. He has very bad habits. I mean, his left hand thumb in the video of him as a young man, it's caving in. I mean, if my student did that, I'd tell him to stop playing concertos and work on just scales, and I'd make him fix it. But he's Perlman. So some crazy stuff he does with his thumb is way abnormal. Everyone talks about it. So that's very astute that you noticed that. And then when his thumb juts out like that, terrible technique. So, like I said, you're allowed to break the rules if you can be successful doing it. Okay, now as far as his wrist touching the body of the violin, it depends on your body type. It depends on how tall you are, how chubby you are, and what position you're in. That's the biggest element. When you're in first position, nobody should be touching here. I can't think of a body type that would. But as you get second position, third position, and finally fourth position, most people's hands begin to touch around fourth position. And when you get up playing up to high notes where you're reaching over the body of the violin, then you're definitely touching. And in fact, we have to teach students to raise their arm and get some clearance so that they can do all their fancy stuff up here with their hand above the violin, and then teach them how to get back down again. So, and Perlman does lean a lot on his violin. Once again, he does some things that are questionable, but who can question his playing? So there was an extensive passage where he was literally using the violin as a crutch. That's not bad, as long as you're still using vibrato. It's fine if you wanted to touch here. It would be very not fine if you're trying to do that from first position. Then it would be a problem. You could justify it from third position maybe, and you could definitely justify it for fourth and fifth position. If you're going higher than fourth and fifth position, then I'm repeating myself, then you're no longer resting here, you're actually working your way past that. And you're working above the body of the violin. Okay, so that's Perlman. Dorothy DeLay, I think she might have been the one that started the whole use all your senses, which is great advice. We should use muscle memory, we should use tactile senses and muscle memory, and use our ears for all kinds of sounds. I've noticed that when I use earplugs to play in symphony, when it's a really loud concert, my accuracy goes down the tubes because I'm not able to hear little sounds that tell me where I am. I'm only able to hear once my bow makes a sound, and I don't realize how much I'm using my ears to hear sounds that the audience is not intended to hear, but that only I hear, that totally I navigate by those sounds. So that's, using your ears, using your eyes. Yeah, a lot of times for a really, really difficult shift, I might instruct my students to look at their fingerboard, look at their hand, and that can really help to guide difficult spots. But generally, violinists who have decent technique don't need to look we're busy looking at the printed page. We're usually playing an orchestra or an opera pit or something, and our eyes are on the page. We have to be able to do everything without looking. So once again, if you're playing by memory, or if you're an improviser or something, then yeah, use your eyes. There's nothing wrong with using your eyes, but there's nothing wrong with not using your eyes. Okay, so let me give you now, you might want to write this times, the minutes and seconds down so you can get right to this spot again. A little exercise for bow distribution is, you're a note reader, I can tell. So here's the sheet music you prepared for me. You're not going to play the left hand notes, but you're going to work on sustaining a beautiful tone on just an open string maybe, for the duration of each note. So you can just kind of read the music, but don't play the pitches, and work on sustaining your bow for the long notes and moving your bow faster for the shorter durations. That's hard to do because you can't suddenly just burp the fast bow. It has to blend with the slow bows. So let me show you a wrong way. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, that was grossly exaggerated, but you get the point. It has to blend into one nice phrase. So what I'm proposing is you do, maybe not an open string, maybe do that F sharp. And you can do the F sharp on E string, or better yet, do it on the A string. You can do it on your first finger or third finger. It does not matter for this exercise, okay? So I'm just gonna do 3 because it's easier. Now watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to make a beautiful sound for 9 beats, and then I'm gonna try to blend the whole bow and not be louder or not accent it. Just have it blend. I think if I demonstrate, you'll know what I'm trying to say. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ya da 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 ya da da. It's gross when I'm singing it. Okay, so it's kind of anti-musical to be on one note, but what that does is it relieves you from having to do this job, so you can focus only on this job. Because trust me, that's part of the magic of the professionals, is their ability to do the slow bow and then the fast bow and blend it. Okay, so I would recommend you do that as an exercise. If you want to do it on an open string, that's fine too. Just do open A. And I'd set a metronome so that you don't have to sing it in your head. You can just kind of watch the rhythm go by as the metronome clicks. Okay, so that's exercise 1. That's isolating your bow hand difficulty. Okay, now let's talk about the pitches. We now learn the pitches with the left hand, and we take away all the difficulty of the right hand. So we're not going to play the slurs or even the rhythms. We're just going to play 2 reps on every pitch we see. And this is a good way to just drill your intonation without any stress. First, I'd like to teach you the simple easy peasy fingering, and then I'll teach you the Anna Akiko Myers fingering, which is pretty magical, actually. So let's learn the easy one, and the easy fingering is not shabby. It's performable, and it's just the piece plays itself. You don't have to do anything fancy to it. Let me show you the fingering that's easy. We start in 3rd position. So you're going to start on a 3rd finger F sharp. Okay, and you're going to stay in 3rd position just for bar 3. Let me skip bar 1 and 2, and starting in bar 3, we have F sharp, and then stay there. You play 2, then 4, then 2, 1, then you shift to first position. Okay, remind me to talk about the trill when I'm done showing you this fingering. Anna Akiko Meyers' rhythm differs from yours. In the last measure of line 1, Anna Akiko plays a dotted quarter, and then she plays the B on the and of beat 2, and then the A is a full half note. So your notation isn't wrong, but Anna is clearly doing it the other way. If you listen, you can listen to the piano. The piano's giving you the exact beats, and you can tell how she's playing that rhythm. Okay, so that's the easy fingering. You start in third position, you shift down to first position in bar 3, and you stay in first position. Let's go ahead and play line 1 together, playing two reps on every note. Skip bars 1 and 2, find your F sharp, and we're just going to play beautiful big bows, 2 of them on every pitch you see. Ready, and go, and. Now shift. 2 reps. Okay, so you can't do the trill on this exercise, it's useless. So do line 2 with me now. Skip the first bar and just play bars, I guess that'd be 6, 7, and 8. Oh, you know what? Let me just explain. In bar 6, you're going to have a high 3, low 3 jump. Look at the last 4 notes of that measure, okay? You've got E 4th finger, and then you've got high D sharp, and then on the very next note, it's a low 3. So it's this diagonal tritone. And that takes a little getting used to, but it's totally normal. And you can do vibrato and you can make it beautiful. And then the same thing happens in the last 4 notes of that line, except it's a high 2, low 2. So you've got 3rd finger, and then C sharp, and then G natural. Okay, so maybe you'd have to drill those. I just wanted to point it out. Let's start in line bar 6, 2 reps on every pitch you see. Ready, go. High 3, low 3. Let's go on to the last measure. Play every note 2 times, starting with a G. Ready, go. High 2, low 2. Okay, and in that last measure, I would play 4th finger E, not open E. You can play open E if you really need to, but 4th finger is more desirable and more professional. Okay, do line 3 with me. Yeah, you know, on this last line, we could do this exercise, but it would be a waste of time. It's not a hard exercise. I mean, it's not a hard line until you add the bowings. So let me just instead show you the bowings. Okay, so line 3, these are Anna Akiko Meyers bowings. She plays 1, 2, 3, and then a fast up, bow, down, up, up, down, up, up, down. Okay, So yeah, you don't need to do the 2 reps exercise on line 3. It wouldn't be productive. All right, so now let me show you Anna Akiko Meyer's fingerings. But that's a tool I use a lot, especially on difficult fingerings, like the ones I'm going to show you, is to take out the slurs, take out the rhythms, and just practice accurately hitting your shifts. So Anna starts in 5th position. Let me talk you through line 1 and then we'll try it. So, and I'm going to skip bars 1 and 2. She plays that beautiful long note, and then immediately, instead of playing 4th finger, which is right there in 5th position, she shifts to a 3rd finger because it's juicier. So she goes from 5th position to 6th position. 3, 1, and then she shifts down to 2, which is 3rd position, and then she shifts down again to 1st position. Okay, and she does a beautiful trill with a nice appoggiatura at the beginning. That means, maybe you know what it means, you sit on the note above the trill for a nice fat bottom. It's expressive to do that. Okay, so that's line 1 of Anna's bowings. Did you notice when she plays an open A, she's vibrating 3rd finger A on the E string. It kind of makes the A vibrate. I think it looks funny and sounds funny, but I'd never tell Anna that. So I play the clearest, most unwobbly A that I can, but she likes to hear a little vibrato on her open A, and that's what she's doing. That's why you see her moving, but it's an open A. Okay, then from that open A, she has to jump up and find that harmonic A on the A string. So that's where you would want to use your eyes and do some target practice. Put your hand down. And a cheat that most violinists use is they let the harmonic speak first, because it'll be perfect. So they play their open A, then they sneak in on a harmonic, and then they slowly sink their finger down and commit to the pitch after they've cheated. So you can totally do that. And it's not even considered undesirable. So as long as you're subtle about it, you can do that. Okay, so let's start on that high A, but skip the whole note and just go to the 2nd bar of the 2nd line. Got your 3rd finger? Let's see, what do I need to tell you? Oh, let me talk you through it. Okay, it's 3rd finger, and then it's 1st finger, and stay there, low 2, 1, and then 4, and then high 3. Now, and then after that high 3, the 2nd finger is right behind the 3rd finger on the A string. And then she goes 2, 2. Okay, let me show you that measure again. So we're on our high A. Then we have F sharp 1. Let me do that a little better. A, 1, low 2, 1, 4, now high 3, and really high 2, and then 2. Okay, it's a very tricky fingering, but it's brilliant, because it's just brilliant. Okay, so now let's look at the last measure of that line. We're still on the 2nd finger G. This is 5th position. And let me talk you through it. So we go from 5th position, we shift down 1 position to 4th, to a 1, and then that B is on a 2, 1, 1, 4, 3. Now right behind the 3 is a high 2. It's like this little crisscross fingering. See how one finger is tucked behind the other? High 3, and then you tuck your second finger in a really high 2. Let's try that last measure of line 2. Find your second finger. Okay, and ready, play. 2, shift down to 1, 2, 1, 4, high 3, high 2, 1, and then we're at line 3. Okay. Okay, let me talk you through line 3. So we start in 5th position. Then we play G sharp with a 2, and then a 3, then shift down to 1. And then on the first ending, shift to 1st position. Okay, so I would drill those pitches and those shifts and do my shifting exercises, and I would work on my bow speed and my bow distribution exercises. Then it's time to put the hands together. And if you feel brave, try it on Anna's advanced fingering, or if you would rather get used to combining the 2 difficulties, using the easy fingering, that would be a stepping stone towards the Anna Akiko Myers fingering. At the end of this video, I will play the whole thing for you, okay? But first, let me talk about the trill, and then give you your shifting exercises, and then I'll play it for you. So the trill is, like I said, it starts with an appoggiatura. Oh, I think I demonstrated it wrong earlier. It starts with a long 3rd finger, and it's on a down bow. So that's all I wanted to say, is the long appoggiatura, which is the note above the trill, and then the little rhythm that you had written differently than the way Anna plays it. Okay, now I'm going to send you this sheet music. You should have it in your email from me. Introduction to shifting. The thing you need to know about shifting, I think I mentioned this in the Disney videos, is the thumb, the whole hand moves as one machine. You don't shift the hand up and then chase it with the thumb. You don't shift with your wrist first and then inchworm up. It moves together. Secondarily, you press the note that you're leaving, play the note you're leaving, then release it, but don't break contact with the string. You just release all the weight. So you played, and then you go to a ghost until you get to your destination note. Your destination note might be on a different finger, or it might be on the same finger. That's why in my Suzuki Book 3 course, I have exercises for same finger shifts and exercises for neighbor fingering shifts, all kinds of stuff. But these are enough to get you started. And let me just show you the logic of them. First, you play the pitches in 1st position. I'm looking at exercise 1A-2, intro to shifting. And you play 1st position. And then you play the same pitches in bar 2, but you had to shift for it. That's to get you used to moving as a unit and shifting accurately from 1st position to 3rd position. That's the first measurement we master as violinists, is shifting from 1st to 3rd. I don't know why, that's just how it's always been done. And you do that for like a long time. And then in for 2 lines, then in bar 9, I start asking you to slur, because that's harder. Okay, and that goes on for 2 lines. Then on the last 2 lines of that page, the instructions say use the bottom fingerings on the second time through. So you see the repeat signs. So the first time through gives you the pitches in first position. Then you repeat and follow the bottom fingering. Open and 1. Okay, real simple. If you think these are simple, then I did my job right. So that's just the intro to shifting, to get your thumb relaxing and to teach your fingers to release the pressure, but to don't fly through the air. Okay, and your thumb is your guide on shifting. Okay, then in the second exercise, it's a little bit more advanced. First, you will do it without slurs. Do the whole page, whole 2 pages without slurs. Then go through it again and add the slurs as I've sort of started out demonstrating in bars 1 and 2. Okay, let me see if there's anything that's not self-explanatory. There's not. No, they're very repetitive and they're designed to be. And if you just can read just the most basic of notes, you'll be able to do this exercise. You're aiming for smoothness, for no disruptive sounds. You're aiming for a light thumb and ghost notes in between. Let me just demonstrate the first 2 lines for you. Did you hear that ghost note or that ghost slide? And if I slur, you'll hear it even more. You try to lessen it. Don't go. You ghost your finger up. So it's kind of a whistle. Okay, there's a lot of fine nuance in shifting. I'm not going to play both lines for you. You get the concept. Okay, if you have any questions, you know how to contact me. So now I'm going to play the Anna Akiko Meyer's version of the air. Music. The best I can. I haven't practiced it, but I think you understand what I'm trying to do for you. I think I'll count because I don't want to put the metronome on. Okay, this is the best I can do. I haven't had time to practice it. So here we go. Ready, and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Open A and find your 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Or you can vibrate. Okay, well, that was very far from perfect, but I think you might find it useful. So that's it for the first half of your air. Great piece. I'm really glad you suggested it. And I'm going to sign off. Bye.